This is the first post Katie Joy Paulson made on Miranda Derrick in February of 2022. Shortly after that, she was sued by 7M Films, Miranda Derrick herself, and her husband, James Derrick. Katie Joy Paulson claims that Miranda Derrick is trapped inside of a cult and is a victim. However, Katie Joy Paulson has done nothing but slander and harass Miranda Derrick, even though she considers her a victim. The harassment on Miranda has steadily gotten worse, and Katie Joy recently doxed Miranda's address, putting her in fear for her and her husband's safety. Katie Joy says this is not about Miranda, but the hundreds of demeaning posts made by Katie Joy on Miranda and the numerous live streams she has done regarding Miranda show serious stalking behavior. Let's take a look.
But let's not make this a story about Katie versus Miranda, because that's not what this is about.
I'm not stalking her, I'm not harassing her, and I'm certainly not following her.
Miranda actually doesn't have a car listed in her name that I could find. I have been looking for marriage records. There's no records of like any joint accounts or joint co-ownership of things, which is usually like one of the first things you'll find when people are married. There's like no record of the two of them legally bound. If she's sitting in Teslas, they're renting Teslas because they're not in her name. Whether it's a lease or whether it's an ownership, there's no car in Miranda's name. If you search Miranda's name, it doesn't come up as Derrick. There's nothing in the courts for a legal change of name. So she's only Miranda Derrick on social media. What's the point of lying that you're married? Changing your name on social media doesn't make you married. Don't just focus on the one person. This is not a story about Miranda. This is a story about what Robert Shin is doing to a community of people. But it's not just about Miranda. We don't want it to be just a story about Miranda. Am I going to talk about Miranda today? Yes, but this is not a story just about Miranda.
Katie Joy's incessant posting on Miranda Derrick led to a lawsuit where 7M Films, Robert Shin, Miranda Derrick, and James Derrick sued Katie Joy Paulson for defamation, claiming that not only the things Katie Joy Paulson were saying were false, but were being made with malicious intent. The lawsuit, which is still ongoing, certainly did not cause Katie Joy Paulson to stop talking about 7M Films, Miranda Derrick, or James Derrick. In fact, behind the scenes, Katie Joy was working with production on this newly released docuseries on Netflix called Dancing for the Devil. Now, Katie Joy Paulson likes to spin this narrative that this isn't only about Miranda Derrick. But let's see what she had to say about the docuseries Dancing for the Devil.
Because tomorrow is the day that the premiere for the series that I worked on for Netflix, Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult, is released to the wider public. It's a 3-part series which follows the life of TikTok dancers that got trapped in a cult. The story revolves around Miranda Wilking and her family when they went live back in 2022.
She even says it revolves around Miranda Wilking, which is just a further way to insult Miranda by not recognizing her as a married woman, not recognizing her as Miranda Derrick. This is just another way for Katie Joy Paulson to insult Miranda, and she continues to do so.
Still trapped inside of the cult of 7M or Shekinah Church, like Miranda Wilking.
But as Miranda's Instagram page says, it's Miranda Derrick. It's Miranda Derrick, Katie Joy. She is married. You're just going to have to accept it. But, well,
Search for her. She is under Wilking. She is not under Miranda Derrick. So if you search Miranda Derrick, there's nothing in that name meaning that there might not be any legal records with her name in Miranda Derrick. Her records, there's not a car in her name. There's no car or assets connected to her. There's no home connected to her. There's not even a current address connected to her. The last address that's on here is from the condo that her dad owns in LA and her parents' house in Michigan.
How is this normal behavior, y'all? And as she did look up other dancers, I'm sure, she didn't do it while she was on a live stream. It's always about Miranda Derrick.
Yeah, I haven't been able to find proof of a marriage either. It's weird. When I look up James, it says he's 99 years old. Do you think James is 99 years old? I'm sorry, he's 93 years old according to this. But it's him. No car. No address.
How is it him if he's not 93 years old or 99 years old? And that's the problem with Katie Joy, is she needs it to fit, so she's going to make it fit. We don't know what information was on there that she claims is his, even though he's not 93 years old. I mean, look at him. Can I please look that good at 93 years old? Oh, and at 99 years old? Looking good there, James. But Katie Joy cannot stop the digging and the stalking behind James and Miranda Derrick. So when she finally decided to go ahead and admit that, okay, yes, they're married, she is in fact Miranda Derrick, Katie Joy Paulson had to find a way to insult them once again, because that's what she does. She could not just be nice to Miranda Derrick. She had to insult who Miranda and James chose to be a witness at their wedding. Clearly, Katie Joy dug and dug and dug until she found something disparaging that she could hold against Miranda and James, and then blast it all over her social media. This was 14 years ago, and we have no idea how this young man has changed his life around. But, of course, Katie Joy doesn't care, because in her eyes, this makes Miranda and James look bad. As she implies, they surround themselves with convicted felons. This is why Katie Joy is so dangerous, and why she should never have anybody's personal information, including their home address. Because after a bunch of relentless sleuthing, Katie Joy finds Miranda and James's address and puts it in this post, while dropping little clues here and there so people would be able to find out where Miranda and James live. When that didn't work well enough, she puts out another one. And in this one, she absolutely includes their address, but acts like it was a mistake. Katie Joy did eventually make an edit and take the address off that was showing in this post, but the damage was already done. Katie Joy's whole purpose in this post was to show that Miranda Derrick is lying about her living conditions, etc., and that Robert Shin is behind it all. But what is the purpose of showing pictures of where this person that you call a victim is living, knowing you could be putting her in danger? Why was it necessary to show the listing pictures of this home that she is currently living in? Why show identifying pictures? So people can look it up, they will know where to find the listing, and they can make the connection. And when I guess people were too slow, you just put the address out. Katie Joy could have easily made the point that Robert Shin is taking advantage of these dancers, he's making money off of them, without putting out these particular pictures. She did not have to put out this information, but she did. Why? Because Miranda has always been a target. Anyway, here's that post.
Derrick is back again, filming content from her townhouse. Even though Miranda has allegedly told friends that she lives on her own and doesn't have anything to do with Shekinah Church and certainly doesn't live in property connected to them, this is actually not true. The home she's filming at is actually a rental that was leased through Shin Real Estate Group.
She has to focus it around the point that she says Miranda is lying. Miranda is a liar. And she just keeps attacking Miranda. But listen, if she's in a cult, this is what is expected. And according to Katie Joy, she says she understands that too. But why would you treat a victim the way that you are. You don't have to point out her lies. You don't have to keep pointing out her flaws. And why the hell would you dox her? So, of course, that makes me ask the question, did Katie Joy Paulson break the law in two separate states? In Minnesota, where she resides, and in California, where Miranda and James live? And is anybody going to be filing a harassment restraining order anytime soon on Katie Joy Paulson under the Minnesota law, and separate from this current lawsuit, to stop Katie Joy Paulson from putting Miranda and James in further danger? And this is a pretty far cry from what she said when she first started talking about Miranda.
Shared some information about sort of the living situation for the dancers, and specifically, I will not be answering questions about where they live, what houses they live in, or their addresses. It's extremely important that we protect them right now, and I don't want anyone showing up at their houses or anything like that. Like, I don't want to put anyone at risk right now. We want to be able to expose what's happening, but we don't want to put anyone at risk. So I am trying very hard not to give away too much. At this point, the safety of the dancers is like the paramount, but it's also the safety of you, just to not get involved in something where you're getting yourself involved with. You might be trying to go find them or whatever, just like, it's not a safe situation. Anytime you're dealing with a group like this that has the kind of resources in which they do, they can do things that are very dangerous.
And that is exactly what Katie Joy did, is she put Miranda and her husband in further danger by putting out their actual home address. Shortly after Katie's post, Miranda made a statement. Here is part of what she had to say.
But before this documentary, my husband and I, we felt safe. Now that this documentary is out, we feel like our lives have been put in danger. We have both been followed in our cars. We have received hate mail, death threats. People have been sending us messages to commit suicide. We've been stalked. Someone said that if I see you on the street, I'm going to come and gut you, so you better get security. Someone also said that if I see you walking on the sidewalk, I'm going to come and shove you in the trunk of my car. So these are just some of the messages that I've been receiving behind the scenes.
Since the documentary was released, Katie Joy Paulson has not stopped talking about Miranda Derrick, and not in a positive way. Miranda did address her family in this statement as well. And as soon as this was over, of course, Katie Joy Paulson had to go immediately to her social media and critique and criticize everything that Miranda just said. And of course, the first thing she's going to say is that Miranda is a liar and that what she was saying had no credibility. So Katie Joy is saying for a fact that Miranda is in a cult. And even though Miranda denies it, Katie Joy is adamant that 7M is a cult. Okay, fine. But that makes Miranda a victim of Robert Shin. So why would you continuously victim shame somebody that you are claiming you are an advocate for? That is my biggest problem. Because Katie Joy herself showed all of the nasty, hateful comments that were being left on Miranda's Instagram page. Katie Joy showed them, almost like she got some kind of joy out of it. But she was more worried that it was going to help Robert, not that it was hurtful or harmful to Miranda herself. And of course, that wasn't enough. And here's just one other example where Katie is downplaying that Miranda actually is feeling fearful for her life and her husband's life. And Katie actually states, scared for her life, but promoting articles to further expose her life. Make it make sense, Roberto. People this scared aren't begging TMZ to share their side. They call the police and get offline. So you're unable and unwilling to see that maybe Miranda is afraid. Truly afraid of something. Does it have to be that something that you agree with? Clearly, or else you wouldn't be treating her this way. But when somebody took pictures of Katie Joy's home, she went straight to Instagram to let everybody know that Robert Shin was behind it all. Again, these are just allegations, but why do you get to complain and moan and groan, but you don't give Miranda the same grace? But now you're the victim of stalking and harassment.
But this is what they posted. So somebody in my neighborhood is walking around with a camera for Robert Shin. Think of how psychotic you have to be in my neighborhood, taking photographs of my house for a cult leader so that they can post them online. Can't call it into police because frankly, I don't know who did it. I can't call, okay, someone said fake profiles, call the police. I can't call the police because I don't know who Balls is. I don't know who owns this account. I don't know anything about them. I don't know their identity. And I don't know who took the photos. So there's really nothing I can post other than someone took photos of my house, but I don't know who. You have to have like a person to accuse when you call the police.
So you tell Miranda that in order for anybody to take her seriously or for her to be telling the truth, she needs to call the police and get offline. But you're doing the exact opposite. You are online telling everybody, and you're stating you cannot call the police. And here's just a reminder of what Katie Joy said when Miranda made her statement. Katie Joy says she lists out the threats received that are cropped, unable to determine the authenticity of the messages. Miranda says these are some of the messages that she has received, and again shakes her head no. So maybe Miranda can't prove these accounts either, just like you're saying you can't prove it. What is the difference, Katie? The hypocrisy is freaking disgusting. She says, in her video last week, Miranda shook her head no when thanking people for support. Miranda's tone, delivery, and emotions do not match the severity of the situation. So Katie just insulted Miranda and said she basically made up these threats and that she's faking her emotions. I could say the same about you, Katie. I can also call you a liar because, well, let's listen to this lie, y'all.
They said it's because I did a reel where I showed a listing of the house that Melanie lived at, which, by the way, was interior shots from a real estate listing. There was no exterior photographs, and it was a listing for a rental, so everything was empty. Okay? They're saying because I found photographs of that to explain how Matthew Shin listed that property, and I did not post anything beyond that.
Yes, you did, Katie. You included their entire address, the full address of where they are living. You included the interior photos that were in the listing, and you put them side by side with her dancing in her living room. Anybody could go back and look at the listing and make those connections, which is probably how you found where they lived anyways. And then you just had to blast it all over the internet. But typical Katie Joy Paulson, she's now the victim in this, y'all.
They are saying that they have a right to scare me by posting photographs of my house.
Katie goes on to say that it's not right and it's weird that people are concerned about where she lives and what her living conditions are. However, she can talk about Miranda and James, where they live, how they eat, where they go, what they drive. But remember, y'all, this isn't about Miranda, right? This was never about Miranda, according to Katie Joy. Well, then why was it always free Miranda? And in all of her posts within her hashtags, it's always hashtag Miranda Derrick, hashtag free Miranda Derrick. I don't see hashtag save the dancers, hashtag free B Dash, hashtag free Vic. None of that. It's free Miranda. And she talks about other women every once in a while that are in this cult, but you don't see hashtag free Kendra, hashtag help Kendra. Nope, see, it is hashtag Miranda Derrick, hashtag free Miranda Derrick. And yes, this is the list of hashtags under this particular post. No hashtag Kendra. What about these other dancers? You say it's not about just Miranda.
They're all victims. Kendra's a victim. Alexandra's a victim. Kylie is a victim. Concrete, B-Dash, Tight Eyes, Aubrey, Slavic. They're all victims.
Yet it's only hashtag free Miranda Derrick. So why? That's my question, and it has been my question from the day she started talking about Miranda Derrick in association with 7M. The other family that made an appearance in the docuseries was Nick Reno's family. And Katie Joy hasn't said much about Nick Reno, even though he was in the docuseries. And actually, here's the list of hashtags under this post. Katie Joy doesn't say hashtag free Nick, hashtag is Nick okay, because his whole entire account has been deleted. In fact, there are many people that are worried for Nick Reno and concerned for his safety and his whereabouts. But of course, Katie Joy Paulson only had to say this. People ask, is he okay? Can you call for a welfare check? And Katie Joy says, unfortunately, Nick was moved into a new property by Robert Shen. I don't think anyone knows where he lives right now. Addresses are needed to call welfare checks. Well, Super Sleuth, you had no problem finding out James and Miranda's new address, but it's very clear that Nick is not as important as a victim as Miranda. Well, I'm going to end this one here, y'all, because every time I thought I was finished with this video, Katie Joy Paulson posted something else about Miranda Derrick. And as she wants everybody to believe this is not about Miranda, I think it's pretty clear that Katie Joy Paulson has some strange obsession with Miranda Derrick. But there is a lot of positive support that Miranda has, and we are all just going to keep watching her dance and hope that what she loves best will keep a smile on her face. Keep dancing, Miranda. We're all here to watch you and cheer you on.